12 Stoic lessons that will immediately change your life. The slave, the statesman, and the emperor. He was born into the absolute bottom of society, a slave, beaten so severely by his master that he walked with a permanent limp for the rest of his days. Yet, by the time his eyes closed for the final time, he had become one of the most influential, revered, and powerful minds of the ancient world. His name was Epictetus. But if you were to walk up to him in the streets of Greece or Rome and call him a master or a teacher, he would have shaken his head. Epictetus did not consider himself a professor of grand theories. He was a philosopher in the truest, most practical sense of the word, a man who sought a very specific, tactical kind of knowledge. The kind of knowledge that, when applied to the raw wounds of reality, helped human beings face, endure, and conquer the inevitable difficulties of life. Through a brutal combination of his own survival as a slave and the rigorous teachings of his mentor, Musonius Rufus, Epictetus developed insights so profound, so sharp, that people traveled thousands of miles across oceans just for the rare chance to stand in his presence. They did not come for entertainment. The wealthy, the powerful, the desperate, and even the future Roman emperor, Hadrian, all vied for a single seat at Epictetus's feet, hoping to catch even an hour of his wisdom. Fortunately for us, a young student named Arian sat in those lectures, kept his ears open, and frantically wrote down everything the crippled ex-slave said. Those raw, unedited notes survived the ashes of history. They were passed down like a secret fire to some of the greatest figures to ever walk the earth. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, explicitly thanking his tutor for loaning him a copy of Epictetus's writings. Thousands of years later, Theodore Roosevelt carried a worn copy of Epictetus into the dark, uncharted jungles of South America during his famously lethal River of Doubt expedition. Admiral James Stockdale leaned heavily on Epictetus's words while leading fighter squadrons in daily combat over Vietnam. And it was Epictetus who kept his mind unbroken during 7 brutal years as a prisoner of war. In the Hanoi Hilton, the list of minds shaped by this slave is endless. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why. You will see how these ancient principles are not dusty historical facts, but real psychological weapons you can use today. Welcome back to QMLG Stoic. Let us dive into the mind of Epictetus. The weapons of Epictetus. The dichotomy of control. Our first and most critical job in life, Epictetus argued, is incredibly simple, yet devastatingly difficult to execute. He stated that we must ruthlessly divide and distinguish all things into 2 distinct categories: externals that are completely outside of our control, and the choices we make right now regarding what we do control. Where will you find good and bad in this world? Not in the weather, not in the economy, not in the behavior of your boss. You will find it only within yourself, in your choices. Epictetus believed that mastering this single skill The art of differentiating between what is up to us and what is not is the exact line that separates a life of misery from a life of absolute freedom. Think about it. A flight is delayed because of a massive storm. You can pace around the airport, turn red with anger, and scream at the airline representative behind the desk. But no amount of human rage will alter the atmospheric pressure. No amount of wishing will make you taller, shorter, or change the country you were born into. And no matter how hard you try, no matter how much of your soul you pour out, you cannot force another human being to love you, respect you, or understand you. When you hurl yourself against these immovable, external objects, you are not being strong. You are wasting the most precious asset you own, your time and your mental energy. You are choosing to fight an unwinnable battle. Stoicism demands that you stop. Look at your life right now. Identify the chaos around you and ask yourself the golden question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, your response must be absolute. Then it is nothing to me. Focus entirely on your own actions, your own character, and your own response. When you internalize this, you do not just become happier. You gain a massive, distinct advantage over the rest of the world. Because while everyone else is draining their energy trying to control the wind, you are busy adjusting your sails. Control your judgment. Control your mind. It is not events that disturb people. Epictetus famously stated, "It is their judgment about those events." Millennia later, Albert Ellis, one of the most revolutionary figures in modern psychology, credited this single sentence as the foundational pillar that guided the development of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Events in themselves are completely objective. They are neutral data points. A layoff happens. A relationship ends. A friend betrays your trust. These are facts. But the moment those facts enter your mind, you perform a dangerous magic trick. You assign a narrative to them. You decide that the event is unfair, bad, or an absolute failure. Someone says a specific combination of words to you, and you instantly decide that those words are offensive or rude. Epictetus delivered a brutal truth for anyone who constantly finds themselves offended. If someone succeeds in provoking you, you must realize that your own mind is complicit in the provocation. They did not hurt you. Your opinion that you have been hurt is what causes the pain. The insult has no power until you accept it, dissect it, and allow it to fester in your mind. You always hold the ultimate veto power. You can look at a negative situation and choose to strip it of its emotional baggage. When you control your judgments, you realize that no one can ever make you feel small, angry, or defeated without your explicit, written permission. Kill your arrogance, the beginner's mind. It is impossible, Epictetus observed with a sharp grin, for a man to learn that which he thinks he already knows. Arrogance, or self-conceit, is the absolute death of self-improvement. Even though Epictetus was sought out by the elite of the Roman Empire, he never stopped viewing himself as a student. He kept his eyes and his ears wide open actively looking for opportunities to extract a lesson from every person, every situation, and every hardship he encountered. This is the exact psychological attitude we must adopt day in and day out, regardless of whether you are already a master at what you do, or just stepping onto the path. The moment you believe you have arrived, the moment you think you know enough, you begin to rot. Every single individual you meet today, even the ones you dislike, even the ones who seem foolish, knows something that you do not. Every uncomfortable situation you find yourself in is a live laboratory for you to test your patience and your wisdom. Epictetus's favorite question to his students was simple: how have you made progress today? Notice he did not ask how much money they made or how many people praised them. He asked about progress, and you can only answer that question honestly if you have the humility to look into the mirror and identify what you do not know, where you are still weak, and where you desperately need to improve. Throw away your ego. Put on the armor of a lifelong student. Hardship is your Olympic sparring partner. The true man, the wise master declared, is revealed only in difficult times. Therefore, when trouble arrives at your doorstep, and it will, Epictetus demands that you shift your entire perspective. Do not view the crisis as a tragedy. Instead, think of yourself as a world-class wrestler who has just been paired with a brutally tough, young, aggressive sparring partner. For what purpose? To break you? No, to turn you into Olympic-class material. When hardship strikes, the average person defaults to victimhood. They cry out, "Why me? This is unfair. The world is actively conspiring against my success. What is the point of even trying anymore?" They treat the obstacle as a dead end. But you are a Stoic. You must train your mind to view hardship as raw grist for the mill. A crisis is not a punishment. It is a high-stakes exam. It is your only real opportunity to practice the virtues you claim to possess. You cannot claim to be patient until you are forced to wait in a grueling line. You cannot claim to be resilient until you are struck down and forced to stand back up. You cannot claim to have courage until you are staring directly into the eyes of fear. Epictetus became the ultimate global symbol of human endurance, precisely because he chose to work with his dark circumstances rather than moan about them. He did not merely resign himself to being a disabled ex-slave. He used that exact pressure to forge a mind of pure iron. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one, and view every single dynamic threat as the very fuel that will make your fire burn brighter and hotter. The Counsel of Seneca. Would you really know what philosophy offers humanity? The great Roman statesman Seneca once mused in a letter to a friend. Philosophy offers counsel. Born at the turbulent turn of the first millennium, a terrifying era characterized by political paranoia, widespread violence, and arbitrary executions, Seneca desperately needed counsel just as much as you and I need it today. He was not a man sitting in an ivory tower. He was a brilliant playwright, a wealthy investor, and an advisor to the infamously deranged Emperor Nero. He walked the tightrope of life, where a single wrong word meant execution. To keep his mind sane amidst the chaos, Seneca read widely and eventually discovered a school of philosophy founded in Athens a few centuries prior, Stoicism. In the raw, unyielding works of the early Stoics, Seneca found exactly what his soul was searching for: a practical, everyday survival guide on how to live a good life in a bad world. Soon, he began sharing this medicine. He wrote a relentless stream of letters and essays to his family members, his close friends, and promising young talents, passing on the wisdom that had preserved his sanity. As he beautifully put it, "Nothing will ever please me, no matter how excellent or beneficial, if I must retain the knowledge of it myself. No good thing is pleasant to possess without friends to share it." Let us dissect the profound counsel that Seneca left behind for the modern world. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. If you suffer from chronic anxiety, if you lie awake at 3 a.m. rehearsing worst-case scenarios in your head, Seneca has a message for you. He wrote, "There are more things likely to frighten us than there are to crush us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Seneca's own life was a masterclass in actual physical suffering. He battled a severe, chronic lung condition his entire life that often left him gasping for air. He lived through the reigns of the first 5 Roman emperors, each one increasingly more tyrannical and bloodthirsty than the last. He was exiled to a barren island, stripped of his vast wealth, and lost almost everything, not just once, but twice. Yet, despite facing real, existential horrors, his ultimate psychological advice was this: the only thing we should truly be worried about is the fact that we are worrying. We are a species of tragic storytellers. We spend months animating terrifying illusions of the future. We imagine the business deal failing, the partner leaving us, the health report coming back positive, or the public humiliation we might face. By doing this, we torture ourselves in advance. We live through the trauma 1,000 times in our heads before the event even has a chance to happen, if it ever happens at all. The phantom premonitions of what may or may not occur are far more poisonous than the actual reality. Seneca demands that you pull your mind back by the collar. Stop projecting your consciousness into an uncertain tomorrow. Look at what is immediately, physically in front of you right now. Stay anchored in the present. If a crisis arrives in the future, you will confront it with the same mental tools you are using today. But until then, do not pay interest on a debt you may never owe. Adversity is the gym of excellence. In a world that constantly tells us to seek comfort, to minimize inconveniences, and to download apps that make life as effortless as possible, Seneca drops a devastating truth bomb. Comfort is a death trap. He wrote, "Excellence withers without an adversary. As fire is the test of gold, so adversity is the test of strong men." We instinctively want to avoid struggle. We want to find a comfortable routine, earn passive income, and sit in an air-conditioned room without anyone ever challenging our ideas or pushing our boundaries. But Seneca looked at a person who had never faced a trial with profound pity. He called them a tragic figure. He argued, "You have passed through life without an opponent. No one can ever know what you are capable of, not even you. Without resistance, your character atrophies. Just as a muscle cannot grow without the painful friction of a heavy weight, your soul cannot develop resilience without the heavy pressure of adversity." This is why Seneca did not just tell his followers to tolerate struggle when life threw it at them. He told them to actively seek out difficulty. He practiced what he preached, voluntarily spending days eating the cheapest food, wearing rough clothes, and sleeping on the floor, just to remind himself that he could survive the worst. When you find yourself going through a brutal phase of life, a broken heart, a failed startup, a career crisis, do not ask for the pain to stop. Shift your posture. Be grateful for the opponent. Look at the crisis as a personal trainer that has arrived to reveal your hidden potential. You are being refined in the furnace, and you will walk out as gold. The contagion of bad company. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Seneca commanded, "Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." The process is mutual, for men learn as they teach. In modern self-help, we frequently hear Jim Rohn's famous line, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Thousands of years before modern psychology, Seneca mapped out this exact social phenomenon with terrifying accuracy. He issued a stern warning about the psychological danger of the crowd. "I never bring back home the same character that I took with me. There is no person who does not stamp their character upon us or taint us unconsciously. Human beings are evolutionary mirrors. We mimic the vocabulary, the ethics, the complaints, and the ambitions of the people we sit at the dinner table with. If you surround yourself with individuals who hide their insults as malicious jokes, who constantly complain about their circumstances, or who are content with mediocrity, you will slowly, invisibly sink to their level. You will absorb their psychological poison without even realizing it. You must become the strict bouncer of your own social circle. You cannot afford to keep toxic relationships alive out of a false sense of guilt or nostalgia, just because you have been friends for years. If a relationship is draining your spirit and dragging down your moral standards, you must cut the cord. Seneca explicitly compared the human mind to a physical body during a pandemic. Just as a deadly disease jumps from one body to another via close contact, a corrupt, miserable mind infects everyone closest to it with its evils. Choose your inner circle as if your life depends on it, because it does. Time is not short. We just waste it. What is our biggest mistake when it comes to thinking about our own mortality? Seneca stated that our fatal error is thinking that death is a distant event waiting for us at the finish line of old age. He turned the entire concept of mortality upside down with one brilliant observation. This is our big mistake. To think we look forward to death. Most of death is already gone. Whatever time has passed is owned by death. Look at the clock right now. The last 10 minutes you have spent listening to this video are not ahead of you. They are gone. They have been officially collected by death. You are dying right now, second by second, minute by minute. The past is not a memory. It is a graveyard of your time. In his masterpiece, On the Shortness of Life, Seneca delivered his most urgent counsel. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. We treat our wealth with extreme paranoia. We lock our doors, we password protect our bank accounts, and we get furious if someone steals our property. Yet, when it comes to our time, the only asset that can never be refunded, we are shockingly reckless. We hand it over freely to mindlessly scrolling on social media, fighting in online comment sections, and sitting in meetings that could have been an email. The ultimate Stoic cure for this waste is simple. Live immediately. Do not postpone your dreams, your deep conversations, or your peace of mind until retirement. Balance the books of your life every single day as if the curtain is about to fall. When you treat every morning as a bonus round, you stop wasting your life on trivial nonsense, and you finally start living on your own terms. The medicine of Marcus Aurelius. There was absolutely no one like him. Marcus Aurelius, the last of the 5 good emperors, the most powerful man on the face of the earth, ruling over a Roman Empire at its absolute peak. Yet, he did not turn to his absolute power for comfort. Instead, he chose to be a student of Stoicism. Marcus was a leader thrust into an absolute nightmare. During his reign, he faced a devastating global pandemic, the Antonine Plague, that spanned 15 brutal years and wiped out millions. Relentless civil unrest, bloody wars on the borders, economic crises, and betrayal by his closest general. To survive this crushing weight, Marcus did not look at Stoicism as an academic theory. He famously compared himself to someone seeking emergency relief from a severe rash or a third-degree burn, and stated that Stoicism was his soothing ointment, his warm, healing lotion. Every night, in the midnight dimness of his military tents, while fighting wars on the frozen Danube River, he opened his private journal. He did not write for fame, publication, or profit. He wrote to give himself medicine. That journal survived the ashes of time and became known as Meditations, a peerless, raw document of a soul fighting to stay good while possessing absolute power. As the historian Brand Blanchard beautifully noted, few today care about the tactical marches of Roman commanders. But what the centuries have clung to is the notebook of thoughts of a man whose real life was largely unknown, who put down the permanent ideals and aspirations that a rare spirit lived by. Let us unlock the final 4 medical lessons from the emperor himself. The argument, at dawn, win the morning. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "Tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I am going to do what I was born for? The things I was brought into this world to do? Or was I created for this? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" This is one of the most intensely relatable and human moments in the History of Literature. It is the opening of Book 5 of Meditations, and it captures an internal battle that Marcus had to fight many mornings. The exact same battle you and I face today when the alarm rings. He desperately wanted to stay under the warm covers. But here is what makes this dialogue incredibly impressive. Marcus Aurelius did not actually have to get out of bed. He was the emperor of Rome. If he wanted to sleep in until noon every day, no one would dock his pay. No boss would fire him. No one would dare ask him why he was late. Yet, Marcus ruthlessly forced himself to rise early. Why? Because he knew that beneath the blanket is no way to achieve a life of excellence. He knew that winning the morning was the ultimate key to winning the day, and ultimately winning at life. He understood that his supreme status did not exempt him from human duty. It amplified his obligations. If you allow laziness to steal your morning, you surrender control of your day, putting yourself in a desperate, chaotic, reactionary mode. If you want to build a legendary life, you must win the war against your comfort zones before the sun even comes up. The obstacle is the way, the amor fati flame. Our actions may be impeded, the emperor commanded, but there can be no impeding our intentions or our dispositions, because the mind adapts and converts to its own purposes. The obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When life completely disrupts your plans, when a business venture collapses, when an injury strikes, or when someone betrays your project, you have two choices. The first way is the path of the average man. You can close your eyes, scream at the universe, and sink into a deep pit of bitter resentment. You can let the obstacle crush you. The second way is the Stoic way. Marcus believed that a true philosopher acts like a raging bonfire. When you throw a heavy log onto a tiny, weak flicker of fire, you extinguish it. But when you throw that exact same log into a massive, roaring inferno, the fire welcomes it, consumes it, and uses it as raw fuel to burn brighter, hotter, and higher. You must treat every single crisis in your life as psychological fuel. A toxic boss is your opportunity to practice radical patience. A devastating financial loss is your laboratory to build unyielding resilience. A painful breakup is your chance to discover true independence. Stop wishing for a path free of rocks. The rocks are not blocking your path. They are the path. When you adopt this mindset, you become completely unbreakable, because there is no event on earth that can stop you from growing. The 4 immovable virtues. If at some point in your life, Marcus wrote, you should find anything better than justice, honesty, self-control, and courage, embrace it without reservation. It must be an extraordinary thing indeed. While Marcus Aurelius was crying out these words into his journal, his reality was a living hell. Rome was being torn apart by famine. A catastrophic flood had destroyed their livestock, and a deadly plague was killing tens of thousands of citizens every single day. Yet, if you read Meditations, Marcus never uses his journal to whine about these horrific historical disasters. He does not play the victim. Instead, he constantly reminds himself that no matter how apocalyptic the external world becomes, it can never prevent him from responding with the 4 core pillars of Stoicism. First, courage, which means facing fear and doing the hard thing anyway. Second, moderation or temperance, which is controlling your desires and resisting your base animalistic instincts. Third, justice, which stands for doing the right thing for the common good, even when no one is watching. And fourth, wisdom, which means seeing the big picture clearly, free from emotional delusion. When life becomes overwhelmingly complex and chaotic, you must use these 4 virtues to simplify everything. You do not need to figure out the next 10 years of your life right now. You only need to ask yourself one question in this exact moment. What is the courageous, just, wise, and disciplined thing to do right now? Do that thing and let the rest of the world fall into place. As the emperor famously summarized, just that you do the right thing. The rest does not matter. Am I harmed? The art of defense. Remember this principle when something threatens to cause you pain. Marcus noted, the thing itself was no misfortune at all. To endure it and to prevail is a great good fortune. When an investment goes to zero, when a grade comes back as an absolute failure, or when someone attacks your reputation online, your immediate, primitive instinct is to yell, "I am ruined." This is a terrible misfortune. Marcus Aurelius proposed a complete revolution of your internal defense system. He looked at the exact same crisis and said, "No, it is fortunate that this has happened, and yet I have remained entirely unharmed by it, not shattered by the present, nor frightened of the future." How can you be broke, criticized, or left behind, and yet remain completely unharmed? Because, to a true Stoic, you are only harmed when your internal character is corrupted. A financial loss cannot steal your integrity. A brutal insult cannot diminish your capacity for kindness. A failure cannot erase your courage, unless an external event forces you to drop your high moral standards or turn into a bitter, dishonest person. Your soul remains perfectly intact. You are still completely in control of who you are. The event could have happened to anyone, but not everyone has the iron character to stand tall and remain completely unbothered by it. That realization is your ultimate armor. Conclusion. The shock of Memento Mori. You could leave life right now. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every single day. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Many modern critics look at the Stoic obsession with death as dark, depressing, or morbid, but they completely miss the point. The ancient practice of Memento Mori, remembering that you must die, is not designed to make you sad. It is designed to be a violent, psychological jolt that wakes you up from the trance of daily mediocrity. It is the ultimate tool for perspective. In the blinding light of your inevitable death, the volume of all the petty, stupid, stressful matters of life is instantly turned down to zero. Is it really worth getting angry, depressed, or overwhelmed? about a minor traffic delay, or a rude comment when you realize you only have a limited, unpredictable number of breaths left on this earth? Of course not. Death clears away the trivial, garbage, and forces you to stay intensely anchored in the present moment with profound gratitude. And so, we close the book on the slave, the statesman, and the emperor. Life is far too short to spend it bending over backwards for validation, crying over events you cannot control, or hiding under the covers of comfort. You do not need anyone's permission to be great. Hold your head high. Embrace the heavy silence when others try to drag you into their drama. Stop explaining your personal choices to an audience that does not care. View every single hardship as an Olympic sparring partner designed to make you strong. And remember, at the end of the day, respect is never given, it is claimed. And it always starts with you. Thank you for walking this path with us today. If this heavy dose of ancient wisdom helped recalibrate your mind, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to QMLG Stoic, and share this with someone who needs to stand tall today. Drop a comment below with the word "unbroken" if you made it to the very end of this 25-minute journey. Until next time, take care, stay dangerous, and remember, respect starts within.